Chosen one, this moment is not a coincidence. Your soul was drawn to this video because the heavens whispered the same message to you 7 times. The number 1111 didn't appear before your eyes for nothing, and the prayers of 33 prophets did not fall upon you by chance. You are one of the 144,000 chosen, and your presence here is a divine sign. This message was sent to awaken the secret that has been resting within your heart. What you are about to hear are not just words, but divine vibrations that will sink deep into your soul. If these words are touching you, leave your heart in the comments so the heavens can witness your testimony. Because when you write, another soul will awaken. Now prepare yourself, for this video will illuminate your path. Those who recognize the signs of God know that nothing is random. That's why your being here is already a miracle. We are building a family of light, the first 1,000 souls. Be part of it, subscribe to Chosen Archangel, press like, and leave your word in the comments. Voices that carry a fire that cannot be extinguished rise above the din of every era. Unwavering, wild, and indisputable, you are that fire. Your very presence causes reality to bend toward a new rhythm, which is why the earth beneath you changes, not because you seek change. Time passes, but you run faster than it does, changing the definition of what is possible. Through the honest disclosure of your actual self, not through disguises or reimaginings. A spirit too great to be concealed any longer. When you get there, the world doesn't know you. It comes into contact with a force it never completely envisioned but subliminally expected. What they formerly believed was inaccessible suddenly materializes in your hands. Every second that passes is a drum roll to your ascent rather than a countdown to your limit. Resonance, not paranoia, is the invisible change. People can't ignore the hum of your existence. An invisible signal that rewires the atmosphere is carried by the air when you enter a space. As if the cosmos is whispering a recognition cue, conversations realign, eyes sharpen, and the energy tilts toward you. Hearts react before the mind can reason. Thoughts are subordinated to instinct. They don't feel confused. Before words can catch up, it is the surety of your influence. This has nothing to do with changing who you are. It's about the world at last changing its perspective to reflect your true self. A force ahead of its time, unavoidable, and bound to change the trajectory of everything it comes into contact with. Destiny's magnetic fields don't ask for permission. They draw, move, and reveal the reality of your surroundings. Distance and attraction are not coincidental. They are responses cloaked in motion. You didn't just happen to stumble here. They led you. You should not disregard any stirring in your spirit. To gain access to prophetic insights, exclusive content, and a community of like-minded individuals, tap Join. This is your moment of alignment, not just a membership. Be the person you were meant to be. Greetings from the chosen. Some draw closer, attracted by the promise of something they cannot quite describe. Additionally, some people withdraw because they can't bear the pressure of being in a situation that makes them uncomfortable. Every action they perform is not intended to alter you. It's about their disclosure. Their goals become more apparent the closer they get. Some people want the brilliance but are afraid of the responsibility that comes with being next to it. Others completely withdraw into the current because they are unable to keep up. More than their words ever could, their decisions shape who they are. You may be led astray by moments of uncertainty, but patterns emerge beneath the surface. There's order in life. It's a choreography. Every closed door is a placement rather than a punishment, even if you can't see the stage being built yet. The route gets crisper when clutter is removed. What seems like subtraction is really a prelude to what needs a clear area. People are redirected rather than rejected when they leave. Their absence makes room for people who are sensitive to the same hidden beat as you by creating the silence that allows resonance to develop. The design is purposeful. The architecture of becoming is interwoven with arrivals and departures. Only after you recognize that the shifts are not coincidental will the pattern become apparent. These alignments are awaiting acknowledgement. Being ready is your default state in life, which frequently feels like a continuous training ground. The weariness comes from bearing something that was never supposed to be on your shoulders, not from your personal struggles. Beliefs, demands, and concerns that are not inherent to you but rather belong to others are invisible burdens that hang over you. The weight of burdens you cannot claim has hindered every stride you have taken. The spirit hurts and the body sags, not because you're weak, but because you've been carrying burdens that look like obligations. There comes a time when release is unavoidable rather than discretionary. It's not abandonment to let go of something that was never yours. It's freedom. You suddenly realize that your nature was meant for the sky, not for chains. To soar is to reconnect to your most authentic self, not to flee. Energy is restored as the superfluous disappears. The wings that used to strain under pressure now stretch with ease, demonstrating the sensation of weightless freedom. Failure is not usually indicated by departure. Occasionally, the universe eliminates mismatched parts before they shatter what is holy. Clarity is carved out by absences in ways that presence could not. The richness spilling out of you, rather than a shortage within, was what they were unable to cope with. Vision intensity, spiritual depth, and potential magnitude. Those who are not ready to deal with these traits find them unsettling. In actuality, someone's departure may be the best act of protection. The barrier that protects your unfolding is their distance. Loss is not their absence. It is making room for fate to remain unaffected. Survival-related anxieties can appear as incessant calculations. The breakthrough, however, is seldom as far off as it appears. When the pieces finally move into view, what disturbs your sleep today becomes the hilarity of tomorrow. Allow your love to show if God's blessings fill your heart to overflowing. Give $50 or more by clicking the super thank you button to help sow seeds of faith that will change the lives of countless people. His riches is reflected in your giving. Serve as a conduit for His grace, and see His kingdom grow via you. The shift doesn't seem to be the result of pure luck. It occurs when the blindfold is removed and you at last become aware of the resources that are already there and only need to be acknowledged. Skills written off as commonplace, visions written off as insignificant, or ties written off as inconsequential all of a sudden show their latent value. The keys to opening up new sources of growth and sustenance are the exact things you minimized. What felt sparse was never really lacking, which is ironic. It was just not acknowledged. When you stop undervaluing what is already within your reach, things open up like doors that are hiding in plain sight. In the meantime, there will always be people who try to mimic your actions in an effort to repeat the same spark. They can mimic motions, but they can't replicate the energy coursing through your body. While imitation can imitate the steps, it is unable to reproduce the resonance. Alignment with oneself, not performance at the surface level, is the source of that resonance. The root of the deed, not the action itself, is what makes you irrefutable. It is impossible to borrow, steal, or falsify frequency. Only the one who embodies it carries this living force. Long before the intellect catches up, patterns appear in plain sight as whispers, indicating alignment. The symbols that appear in everyday life are not arbitrary. They are indicators of your journey's advancement. Every hint of recurrence is more about confirmation than coincidence. The parts have already been moved into position by invisible forces. In reality, what you perceive as chance is confidence. Your promotion seems to have already been approved by invisible clerks who are silently filing approvals in the background. The process is complete by the time the proof reaches your eyes. All you are doing is entering something that has already been locked. When you realize there is no delay, the feeling of waiting vanishes. The call has been made for someone to come forward. The space is ready. You're not pleading for admission. We're welcoming you in. The spark in your mind is simultaneously construction rather than idle play. What lingers as a partially developed concept is actually a threshold, a gateway to worlds beyond your current horizon. Unseen locks start to open the instant you treat that vision as sacred rather than casual. Opportunities that previously had no obvious pathway start to emerge as energy rushes to meet focus. This level of creation is not ornamentation. Genesis is it. You're not just creating something. A realm is being born by you. Through your labor, the invisible is getting ready to spill itself out, revealing futures that only become apparent when you have the courage to give it your all. You are on the cusp of transformation, consciously transforming your inner field and your physical space. What used to feel static now demands movement, as though invisible hands are guiding you to realign your environment to fit a beat you haven't yet fully heard. Every choice you make to move, swap, or let go is more about creating an environment that reflects the frequency of who you are becoming than it is about the item itself. Walls now include more than just color and furnishings. They contain the mood you are trying to evoke. Rearranging a room creates a blueprint of your vision and reflects the momentum that is building inside. Every change signals preparedness for what lies ahead, making it architecture for the invisible rather than only decorative purposes. The silent law of resonance is at play here, not coercion. Our goal is clear: 1,000 voices united. Every subscriber, every like, every comment gets us closer. Stand with chosen Archangel today. People's bonds start to tighten or stretch based on what fits your emerging tone. As if magnetic strands were created overnight, certain connections come closer in unexpected ways. Others fade because the music you hum no longer fits their steps, not because they are rejected. There is no dispute or compromise during the smooth reordering process. Your energy changes the form of relationships, much like tides that transform the shore without requesting permission. The natural pull of mutual recognition may cause what was once crucial to fade into the background and what was once faint to suddenly become prominent. Each modification redefines belonging. Those who stay are selected by mutual gravity rather than clumping together. Their nature aligns with your progress, which is why they are drawn into the circle of your new vibration rather than out of obligation. People who fade do it with grace. Their separation creates room for what feeds you right now. The process is refined rather than lost. Life takes away what cannot go with your eyes, much like a sculptor cuts away to expose form. Your voice is finally ready to speak, and the new structure is clearer, leaner, and more in line with that voice. The world isn't changing because of you. Everything around you reorganizes as a result of your self-shift. Relationships reflect the rhythm of your future, and your home becomes a representation of your spirit. Arrival is already the preparation. The reshaping itself is evidence that change is taking place. It is you who gradually realizes that the words you formerly fought conceal that release. Until the timing itself evolved organically and provided the opportunity to speak, the silence you carried pressed down like a door that would never open. Weight vanished into clarity as soon as the truth was said, and what had been a burden moved into the air, readying the ground for what lay beyond. A secret skill that you practice in private when no one else is around turns out to be the foundation of who you are. It's almost impossible to show what you've refined in solitude since it comes so naturally. Others, however, see that flow as an unattainable brilliance, a wonder they are unable to identify. What comes naturally to you ends up being the thing that sets your path apart. This skill that develops through practice and simplicity becomes the foundation of your impact. What used to seem insignificant or unimportant now serves as indisputable evidence of your talent. Where others strain and falter, you glide as if propelled by an invisible tide. And your foundation is set in that easy rhythm. Beyond your control, dynamics take place in uncontrollable regions. Sometimes, in an effort to obtain what they did not cultivate, someone tries to manipulate your light. Their scheme is based on delusions, and delusions seldom hold up to the facts. What they attempted to steal stealthily escapes their grip. Rather from hurting you, their plans backfire, creating gaps that only you can close. The circumstance they hoped would keep you out turns into the exact moment when your genius is shown. What was intended to be a barrier makes way for opportunities that can only be found via resistance. The pattern of irony makes sure that expansion replaces betrayal. When someone tries to quiet you, your voice is amplified and reverberates deeper than before. Their efforts clear the path that is rightfully yours, demonstrating that no outside scheme can derail your progress. It is a precise and furious unfolding. The attempt to overshadow you only serves to highlight your strengths, and what once seemed like a threat turns into evidence of your fortitude. These turns unspoken order serves as a reminder that nothing can ever stop what was meant to be your foundation. It is you whose vessel changes in subtle and spectacular ways. Changes in eating patterns, sleep patterns, and surges of energy do not indicate deterioration but rather rebalancing. Your being structure reshapes itself to support expansion, adjusting to hold more force. The evidence that evolution has started is frequently what is disconcerting. Without your conscious consent, the body and its wisdom update its codes. Once random fluctuations now show up as a component of a bigger pattern. As though an inner engineer were preparing the system to withstand currents more powerful than before, muscles, breath, and pulse organize around a new capability. What seems to be a disruption is actually preparation. Every energy upswing and downswing serves as a practice for resilience, a means of incorporating strength into your physical makeup. The capacity gained is everlasting, but the discomfort is only momentary. A collapse is not what it is. It is progress and construction. A pull starts to develop that goes beyond the physical. One that is born on resonance rather than logic. No matter how far away a place is, it calls with an unavoidable regularity. The draw is a compass that indicates where your complete expression can thrive, not a diversion. You are being called to place yourself where your mission may flourish, not just to move. This precise magnetic pull aligns you with mission rather than hedonism. Opportunities come together and pathways develop in accordance with your goals when you are guided. Following it means having faith that your actions are a part of a bigger picture than what you can see right now. Unexpected connections emerge from odd places alongside these changes. People who were earlier thought of as competitors turn out to be possible allies who are interested in your path. Your inevitable rise changes the dynamics, transforming rivalry into cooperation. However, discernment is still crucial. Not everyone who strives for your advancement belongs in your social group. While some enter as true co-creators, others seek benefits without contributing. To distinguish between the two is the task. Choosing wisely ensures that your journey is strengthened rather than diluted. You are the dreamer who glimpses tomorrow before it arrives. What unfolds in sleep carries the texture of reality more vivid than daylight routine. These visions are not fantasy but rehearsal, a sacred stage where your inner world experiments with timelines that soon press into the physical. Your conscious mind lags behind, but the message has already been delivered. The images you receive at night are not hollow illusions. They are sketches of lives preparing to bloom. Just as an architect draws blueprints before structure arises, your subconscious runs through scenarios so that waking life can step into them with certainty. The sensation of déjà vu is only recognition that you have walked the ground before it was solid. Your relationship with resources mirrors this same wisdom. Instead of clinging tightly, you allow circulation to define your abundance. Wealth is not stacked in corners to gather dust but moves with intention, creating momentum wherever it flows. The more you release with purpose, the more it returns magnified. This flow is not random. It is trust between you and the current of provision itself. Money becomes less an object and more a participant drawn to your stewardship because you honor its role in service rather than in storage. In this way, prosperity becomes movement, not confinement. The reach of your presence extends beyond material expression. Without persuasion, without performance, your energy alone alters the atmosphere. Others shift simply by standing near, as though an invisible code were transmitted through your being. What you embody becomes instruction without words and unspoken teaching carried through vibration. Those around you recognize change within themselves not because you told them, but because your state reflected back possibilities they had forgotten. Transformation occurs quietly like seeds germinating in unseen soil. Yet the results are undeniable. The influence is not forced. It is resonance unfolding. And woven through it all is the reminder that what you dreamed as a child was never idle invention. The visions that others dismissed as too large were glimpses of your path. Seeds planted before reason could interfere. While many abandoned their early sparks in exchange for caution, you have protected the ember. That flame still guides, proving that what seemed impossible was simply waiting for your maturity to catch up. You are the one who no longer fits the frame others once placed you in. A figure from your history tries to step back into your world, but they recognize only the echo of who you used to be. The patterns that shaped your earlier self cannot contain you now, and what once connected has dissolved into incompatibility. Evolution has taken you beyond their reach. Attempts to revive outdated bonds fall flat, not because of rejection, but because growth has rewritten the script. You no longer speak the same language, and the rhythm that once matched is shifted into silence. The gap between what was and what is proves too wide to bridge. Transformation leaves no room for regression. As you move forward, your sharpened perception unmasks what others attempt to conceal. People who cloak themselves in pretense falter in your presence. The discomfort becomes its own confession, revealing what words try to hide. Your awareness operates like a lens too clear for distortion to survive. Don't just watch, engage. Subscribe to Chosen Archangel, press like, and leave your amen in the comments. Together, we rise to 1,000. This vigilance ensures that what you carry is preserved for what truly matters. Patterns of alignment become louder as turning points approach. Encounters, symbols, and repetitions weave together into guidance too exact to dismiss. What seems random arranges itself as a map of direction. Near breakthroughs, reality itself becomes orchestration, guiding you through unmistakable signs. Your presence alone alters the fabric of any environment you enter. Without lecturing, without convincing, your essence recalibrates the energy around you. The effect is not performance but design. A natural transmission that leaves others uplifted simply by contact. Transformation becomes the silent signature of your being. The doubt once framed as imposter syndrome reveals itself for what it is. Misalignment between hidden magnitude and diminished expression. After years of shrinking, stepping into authenticity feels unfamiliar. Yet, it is the only true fit. When the mask falls, the brilliance that was always there becomes impossible to ignore. Every step, test, and lesson forms a path that no pre-written title could contain. You are not filling roles but creating them, establishing frameworks that did not exist until your presence made them necessary. This is the training of a pathfinder. Preparation not for comfort but for frontier making. What once depleted you transforms into exhilaration as energy flows with purpose. Effort no longer feels like labor when aligned with the current that carries you. Childhood memories of difference. The call towards strategic placement and the sharpening of discernment all prove one truth. You were never meant for the ordinary. Even family skeptics eventually shift, not because of persuasion, but because your light grows undeniable, becoming support that was unimaginable before. Chosen one, remember this: heaven never sends a word without purpose. If this message has stirred your spirit, let it shine brighter. Press like so the light spreads to others walking in darkness. Subscribe to Chosen Archangel so you never miss the next divine revelation. And share your thoughts in the comments below. Your testimony may be the very spark that awakens another soul. Until we meet again, stay covered by the wings of heaven and walk boldly in your calling.